What's up, ATL golfers? Welcome to wow, we are at episode 10. And for episode 10 of the ATL Golfs podcast, we spoke with Robert, the GM over at Fox Creek Legacy, and we'll get into that conversation in just a moment. We actually literally just finished the interview, and so you had to listen to that here in just a second. Andrew, how do you feel that how do you feel like it went?
Well, I always love these things that we do. I think it was a great idea that you had, hey, we should bring on, an operations guy or a general manager after episode one. But it just gives you so much more insight. You'll see in the episode where, after like the first rating I give, I start thinking about it and just how much work they're putting in. It's an executive course. But you get so much insight on the operations of the course. And so it can really change your perspective, get out there. So I always love stuff like that. Robert was super nice. He had a great setup. His backdrop was sick. And so
Yeah, I just told the only thing that you'll hear in a second, but I kind of rubbed it in his face that I got to play East Lake instead of him, and Andrew's in the corner just like so uncomfortable, and
dude,
I thought I could kind of rib him. I still don't know if he hates me or if he was
no.
just like I have no idea. I feel like I'm not welcome at Fox Creek anymore.
We had just met the dude like 5 minutes and we were talking to him for a little bit. And then he just starts rubbing. He's like, I know you're a little bit, youthful in this golf industry. Meanwhile, he's been doing it 20 plus years. When I get anxious or something, I start getting itchy
Yeah.
too. So I'll start rubbing
I
myself.
just, I assume that folks are just, we're all having a good time,
No.
and I think actually it was a little bit of a sore spot for Robert, and I maybe played a little bit too hard, and so Robert, if you're listening to this, my apologies. I was just kidding, but listen, folks, I know that we have listeners that would love to take care of Robert and take him out to East Lake and show him a good time. And so I feel like if I can make that happen, then I'll be back in the good graces of Fox Creek, right? So that'll be my that's how I'll
East Lake
get
for
back in the
Fox
good
Creek. It's
graces.
the equivalent, at least with the rating we give it,
Perfect.
I feel like.
But look, look, I know our audience. I know we got people that, are members at East Lake and play there often. And I think you'll hear from Robert and you'll hear what Fox Creek is all about. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that our community will step up and get him out to East Lake. That would be the coolest thing ever if our ATL Golfs fam finds a way to get him out there. And if we don't, maybe we raise enough money to get Robert out there because he deserves it. So well, stay tuned for that. But the goal of this podcast is to inspire somebody to get our new friend Robert, the GM over at Fox Creek and Legacy, out to East Lake this year. I think it'll happen. I think we'll make it happen.
I think so too.
Welcome to the ATL Golfs Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the ATL Golfs Podcast. This is episode 10. I'm joined by Robert Sabat in the middle, the general manager of Fox Creek Legacy. Also have our host with the mostest, Joe Davis on the right side. I guess you want to say co-host, right?
It's co-host, right? Yeah, you're the host. This is your baby. I handed it off to you. I'm here. I'm just the support. I'm the doula, if you will. Just helping you. I'm helping you birth this beautiful baby podcast.
This is getting graphic. Uh, I love it.
Uh, Welcome,
Robert, first
Robert.
up, yeah. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making the
Oh,
time.
great.
For me, Fox
No,
Creek and
thanks for having me.
Legacy are just down the
Yeah, of
street,
course.
and so I love Fox Creek and Legacy since I first. I think same thing for you, Joe. You just we're both super close to it. This place holds a special place in my heart, in my golf career at least.
Fox Creek is where I learned to play golf. I did the group lessons in October of 2021, and it was the first time I'd ever really picked up a club and did the 4 week lessons and caught the bug and never looked back. So this is a little bit of a full circle moment for me on this podcast, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very nice.
So, for those of you that don't know about Fox Creek or Legacy, it's located in Smyrna, Georgia. They're both right next to each other. Today, we're going to be covering Fox Creek, which is the longer one of the two. It's a par 62. It's got one par five, six par fours, and 11 par threes. And it's about 15 miles from the center of Atlanta. It's about a 25, 30-minute drive, so reachable for all of you guys. And yeah, it's owned by Bobby Jones Links, so it's kind of own everything in it.
Is it owned or is it managed by Bobby Jones Links?
Yeah, it is managed. Bobby Jones Links is a management company based out of Alpharetta, Georgia. They, I think, have five, five, five or six clubs here in the Atlanta area they manage.
Oh, okay, okay.
So who owns Fox Creek Legacy?
There's two gentlemen that used to own a business here in Atlanta, but they purchased it back in 7, 8 years ago. But they actually live in Las Vegas now.
So you're gonna like that.
Yeah.
Let me jump into pricing real fast. So on a weekday, if you want to play 18, there's usually hot deals 99% of the time. Come down to pretty much like 30, $33. And then regular pricing during the weekdays is $40. And then on the weekends, a hot deal's $40 again. And regular pricing is around 50 and then 55 on the higher end. So really,
Okay.
really great prices there, I think. Do you guys do any twilight tea times, or is it pretty much just a flat rate throughout the whole day?
No, we do a twilight start. In season we start at 4 o'clock, and I think the twilight on the weekdays is, if I remember correctly, 36, and on the weekend is 42. I think.
Great price.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, we actually haven't had a chance to introduce Robert. So, Robert, if you wouldn't mind taking a quick moment and introducing yourself to the listeners, what your position is, what's your kind of history with Fox Creek, so that way before we get into the review, everyone has a kind of understanding where you're coming from.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, my name's Robert. I am the general manager at Legacy and Fox Creek, Legacy Golf Links and Fox Creek Golf Club in Smyrna, Georgia. I've been there about 4.5 years as a general manager. I obviously work for Bobby Jones Links, the management company. I've been with them for probably about 18 years. Been at probably about 4 or 5 different clubs they've managed here in the Atlanta area. And, started way back when in my 20s as a golf professional. So, I have a lot of experience in golf, pretty much golf since I was probably 22 years old, and golf and restaurants are the two things I've done all my life.
I'm in restaurants now. I've been doing that for 10 years.
It's the worst thing in the world.
I'm not gonna say anything. I think my boss listens to the podcast. I love my job. I love my job.
Oh, then I'm not going to say anything. No, I actually owned a restaurant here in the Alpharetta area for just a little under 2 years. It was a Northern style diner over on McFarland Road. So, I was
Cool.
managed and owned. So,
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know about owning.
So as a GM at Fox Creek Legacy, what's your day to day? What's kind of a typical day in the life?
yeah, mainly I hate to say I do a lot of reports, but I have two operations managers. Andrew, who handles the day-to-day operations over at Legacy, and then Maddie, who handles the day-to-day operations over at Fox Creek. But it's a lot of it's financial stuff. Setting goals for the year. Reporting. A lot of reporting back to the owners out in Vegas and the management company of Bobby Jones. So that's what a lot of stuff. My day to day.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, I don't have time for golf though.
I hear that in everyone that works in the golf industry, at least at a club, they're not golfing as much as they thought they would.
They don't.
It's kind of like eating at the restaurant you work at.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're around it 24/7 or, whatever, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And you're like, I just want to go home. See the dog, see the wife,
What's Andrew, we should probably ask better questions of our guests. I'm thinking about it. What's the best golf course you've ever played?
Ooh. That's a good question. I grew up in the Northeast, so there's so many up in the Northeast that I played. I played Shinnecock, which I thought was really neat. Balderstraw I played, so they were pretty neat. The kind of older style courses. Tillinghast with the deep bunkers and all that. But here in the Atlanta area, I think the River Club might be one of my top 5. I still haven't met
Yeah.
nobody's invited me to East Lake yet, so can't. I'm waiting for that invite there.
This is awkward. I played East Lake on Monday.
Oh, great! Thanks for the invite.
Look, I get. Look, you can work in golf for 18 years, or you can start a social media account, and within a year, you're playing East Lake.
Joe, you're rubbing it in. It's crazy.
Alrighty then. Wait
I'm so-
till you come out to visit Legacy or Fox Creek.
Yeah, maybe this is the start. Someone's gonna listen to this and be like, Robert, I could get you out there. I didn't know you probably
listen,
See?
Robert. I can. I'll pull some strings for you, man. I know you're young in this industry and you're still getting your feet wet, but I'll pull some strings for you and see what we can make happen.
Thanks for the help.
You're making me itch. Oh man. The
It's all
slander
good.
just to
It's all
start.
good. Yeah, good stuff. Well, cool. Well, let's get into our course review and talk more about Fox Creek. So, Andrew, well, first of all, for those maybe listening to this for the first time, for those that may or may not know, here's how we do our course reviews. It's a scale of 1 to 10. We go through layout and pace and tee boxes and fairways and greens and bunkers and practice facilities, and then value, and then of course, do we recommend it or not? 5 out of 10 is expectations. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just sort of, I paid the money and I got exactly what I expected and no more, no less. Anything above a 5 is value. Anything below a 5 is below value. And so, so we're going to be, and all that's handicap based off of the price. And so when Andrew was going over the price previously, we're a regular price for a weekday 18 being $40 and a weekend 18 being in that kind of $50-$55 range at the highest end. Those are kind of the numbers we're going to be going based off of. So I think that's all people need to know. Let's jump in.
Yeah. We start off a layout. I give it a 6 out of 10. I think it's, slightly above average, especially for the price you're paying. Everything's pretty much a straight shot, which I don't mind too much. But what I like is that there's, good undulation. You're pretty tight together, but you can't complain about it. What about you, Joe? How do you feel about the layout?
Yeah, I'm gonna bump up because I think what I'm comparing Fox Creek against is other sort of executive style courses, and even comparing it up against Legacy. I give it an 8 out of 10, and my main reason for that is oftentimes. So if you think about other executive courses like your Steel Canyons, I'm trying to think of some other ones that come to mind that I'm blanking on. I mean, you could throw in Yates into that as well, I guess, since they have some par fours in there too. I'm always looking for variety. And what I really love is that the par threes, you got uphill, you got downhill. It goes from 100 yards to 185 yards. There aren't 2 holes back to back where I think I ever use the same club. And even the par fours, give you something a little bit different. Again, whether that's going uphill like you do on 11 or 9, or where you go downhill like you do on number 1. I also just love the fact that the executive course has a par 5. I call it the shortest par 5 in Atlanta, which honestly, look, everyone wants to get a birdie. If you want to get a birdie, you go to Fox Creek and you play that par 5, and it's a great opportunity to get your first birdie and feel like you've done something as a beginner. You don't make the scorecard, so that's quite okay. And so I love the layout. I think that for executive course, I don't think I've ever played an executive course where I got as much variety of shot options and club usage than I have at Fox Creek. So that's why I rate it pretty high.
Like that. That's a good perspective to have about it. There's not a lot of executive courses in Atlanta or in the Atlanta area either, too.
Right.
It definitely
And
is
so
one of
that's
the
all
best.
and that's what all we have to compare it against,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of why I go pretty high, because there's not another one that I think gives you that much variety. But Robert, what's your take?
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying for both of them. I mean, we have River Pines, which is over kind of Johns Creek area. It's fairly flat. That's what I like about Fox Creek and Legacy that it's very undulating. It's not just straight out flat. Throw a bunker in the middle. In the middle of a par four. You got to hit some shots. You hit it on a downhill lie. You know, you got to use your skills a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely not like
And the risk
easy out there sometimes. At least not for me.
And even the risk reward aspect, right? You think about number three, where it's a drivable par four, but man, you go long and you're in trouble. If you flare it out right, you're in those trees or over the fence and OB. You flare it out left, you're hitting another tree. So, there's a couple of situations like that where, yeah, there's a hole in the back. I don't know if it's 15 or maybe 15, where it's kind of goes downhill. It's drivable, but the road's to the right, and you're like, I've seen so many people, I myself included, slice it over there, and I just think you get some nice risk reward opportunities as well. That again, I don't feel like you often get at executive courses. So, yeah, cool. Let's move on to pace.
Uh, now that okay, everything's changed now because I'm thinking about other executive courses. I mean, I gotta give it like a call, like solid 7.5 out of 10. The amount of times I've gone out to Fox Creek, I play a lot during the weekday too, but just been able to zoom through in like 2 hours, maybe even less sometimes. Um, Pace is always really, really good up there. Even on the weekends, it's never too bad. Um, anywhere you go on the weekend in Atlanta now, it's gonna be packed out. So you're gonna always expect 4.5 hour times. But Fox Creek, I think you can pretty much cut it under like 4 hours or 4 hours on the weekends, even. Really, really good up there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's the nice combo of, it definitely attracts beginners, but there's not too many holes that get really backed up. I would say maybe the only one that starts to get a little back up, and maybe Robert, you can speak more to this, is one, two, maybe hole four, the uphill, pretty long par three. I've definitely have seen that where people end up in the left fairway or something like that, and it's holding up that group, and a little bit of a traffic jam right there. But I tend to agree, especially I think for whatever reason I felt like every time I get on the back, things speed up a little bit, which is not usually the case for whatever reason. So yeah, Robert, what are some of the traffic jams that seem to come up, and what do you guys do to try to keep pace of play, going as smoothly as possible?
Yeah, just like you said, four, we do get a lot of calls saying, hey, we got to back up two or three groups, not two or three, but, a couple groups here on number four. Just same thing. They hit it over across the fence where the church used to be, and a little bit on 10 also, just because, some of the people going inside, using the restroom or, picking up some beverages or something like that. And then there's some people just make the turn. So those are the two biggest things. During the week, we don't have a marshal, or I shouldn't say that, but, our starter kind of acts as our starter and marshal. So if we get a call, he'll go out and kind of speed play up a little bit. And then on the weekends in season, we do have a marshal that is riding the course typically from 10 to probably about 5 or so. And then, what a good thing, we just got those pace modules where it shows the yardage and everything. We just got those installed back in December for both courses. So that's a good thing we can have, so we can go in there and look to see, okay, are they on pace? Are they not on pace? And we can always type in there, send a message to them and say, Mr. Smith, cart number 12, you're behind pace. Please, speed up pace, and we can send it to them.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I
I think
noticed
we're
those
seeing
the
a lot
last
of
time I
that.
played. I was like, when did they get this? I was so confused.
Yeah.
You got to follow my stories, man. I think I reposted whenever I was like seeing updates from golf courses reinvesting back into, things that make things a little bit better, a little bit nicer. It shows that, your money's going back into it, which is improving the experience overall. And part of that is sometimes just being able to report back who's being slow and who's, keeping everyone else and having a little bit of a better day. So what's the spacing that y'all have between your tee times?
We have every 10 minutes.
Every 10 minutes. Perfect.
Yep.
And I think for like an executive course, I think sometimes for full par 72, you like to see 12 at least. But I think for an executive course like this, 10 is perfectly adequate. So
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
great. Awesome. Cool. I mean, for rating things for me, I mean, yeah, I would say it's above average. So 7, 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. It's solid. Cool. On to tee boxes. I'll start this one. You know, I've always been pretty impressed with the tee boxes in general, you know, because of how much iron play is going to happen on an executive course, even the par fours where, you know, you can definitely hit iron on almost all the holes. The fact that there's almost very rarely are there some bad tee box. I think going back to 4, that's probably one that gets, you know, it's in the shade, so that just probably is what it is. Um, but by and large, I've always felt like, again, grading on the curve of executive courses with tons of iron play, it's always been pretty good. I feel like, and Andrew, I know you're the evenness, you know, that's your passion.
See, I'm
So you
special,
can
I
speak
think.
more to that. Yeah, you can speak more to that. But I've never stood on a tee box and be like, I feel this is crazy. And again, based off the price point, you know, that's kind of all you can ask for. But what say you?
Um, I mean, again, my ratings have changed. I think 6.5 out of 10, and I think that's even on the lower end still. Um, just because they get a lot of play, and so they're not like amazing or anything. They are relatively always pretty even. There's always some grass to hit off of. Um, See, I'm not like a big tee off the green kind of guy when it comes to irons, and so that's where I guess I really am a stickler for where I'm like I want some grass, but yeah, absolutely above average, especially for the price and how much play there is. I bet Legacy and Fox Creek are one of the busiest golf courses in Cobb County. So
Yeah, easily. Yeah. So what are some of the tee boxes y'all have maybe challenges with, and or what have you guys done to maybe yeah, what do y'all do to keep them up and keep them overall pretty healthy?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good question. The past couple of years, we've actually, started to kind of look at the tees at both places, both Legacy and Fox Creek. Obviously the biggest thing is the shade canopy. Like you were talking about number 4, it was a full trees, down the right side and, mainly down by the tee box, just the way the sun sets and comes up. It's pretty much shade all year long. So we, like I said, the past couple of years, we've started to limb up some trees, take some trees out, to get rid of that shade canopy, and then each year we'll earmark or budget, certain tees. Uh, Again, we do. I think Fox Creek did about 48,000 rounds last year, and Legacy did about 42. But so, yeah, we're extremely busy. Both courses combined, I think, did about 87,000 rounds.
oh,
So, yeah. And you see how small some of those tee boxes or tee complexes
Yeah.
are at Fox Creek. And that's, the hard part. We we'll resod, and typically we'll do that in May. And we do have some over at Fox this year to be resod. But just the amount of play we get, it's dig, and it's hard to just keep that grass growing throughout the year. So that's where we kind of struggle. We're trying, like I said, a lot of tree limbing. We resod when we can. We can't do it in the middle of the year because grass really isn't going to take. So
jeez, that's a
Yeah.
insane amount of tee times. I mean, it really just kind of puts into perspective, like, when you show up to a golf course, it's not like you're the only person that's ever played that golf. Keep your expectations realistic of like, oh, there are 50,000 people that just played before me. Let me make sure I think
Right.
about that. That's crazy.
That's the thing, man. Like that's why I think when I did my original ranking, I'm looking back. So I did what y'all were my first reviews way back in May 2025, and I gave it 8 out of 10 on the tee boxes, and really it's for that reason, man. Like it is incredible that there is any grass, and again, there's other executive courses you can go to, and it is there ain't grass, you know.
yeah,
So there's and tee box is an interesting thing in Georgia. It doesn't matter what executive course par 72, if you're in the shade, like you're probably struggling and looking at other grass types, and then do you have a different grass type for 3 out of the 18 tee boxes, and what does that mean, and upkeep,
yeah,
and everything else. A bunch of different variables that go into it that are, I'm sure, a headache for guys like you.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're right on. Um, all right. Next, we're headed over to fairways, and then we'll have our new segment, a little teaser. Andrew, you can kick us off with fairways.
Fairways 8 out of 10. I mean, I love how fun they are and quirky. I'm a guy who loves some quirk. So, I mean, even hole one, you start off, you're probably, I don't hit it that far. So I usually have a downhill lie. There's all these weird lumps and mounds and stuff like that. But I think it keeps it interesting and fun. And so, solid 8 out of 10. And it's constantly like that throughout the whole course. The front nine, just, you can make a mess of it if you're not good at these uneven. I appreciate things like that because it's how you grow as a golfer and it makes you better and more versatile. So I take that all day, every day over just flat greens and flat fairways. What about you, Joe? How are you feeling about the fairways?
Yeah, I'm close. I would say I'm probably more like a 7, maybe 7.5. And probably the only reason I'm not an 8 is I know like the fairways on specifically 9 and 11 tend to struggle. I think I know for 9 probably just due to the elevation change and that tough old Georgia clay that starts poking through, especially on that right hand side. And unfortunately, that leads to a lot of balls bouncing and going across the cart path and over to tent or in the pine straw over there. So those are two of the only ones that stick out in my mind. There's maybe one more that maybe struggles a bit, but nine and 11. So I knock off a point for that and keep it at 7. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I think specifically there's been so many moments that the par five, walking on that, I'm like, man, this is such pristine fairway. I love it. It's so good. And so I'm always impressed with the majority of the fairways on Fox Creek. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Robert, what do you guys do on that end of things?
Yeah, that's obviously a struggle for us because like you said, on number a 9, we get a heavy rain. It's all downhill, and like you said, when you're looking down 9 fairway, that whole left side with the cart path, it just pretty much washes away. So we struggle with that a lot, and you'll notice that in a lot of the areas where it dips down. That's kind of where our bare spots are because everything slopes down into there when we have significant rain.
So what do y'all do I mean, is that just kind of at this point of things like, all right, that's just the nature. That's nature. We are sometimes in some we're subject to the nature gods, and so in this on this particular hole in this particular section, it's just going to wash out. Is what it is, or is it something where you guys look at it or look at other examples and think, okay, well, what are some things we could do to potentially do that? Is that drainage? Is that how do we get water going a different route? Like, what's kind of the thought process behind that?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. How can we do whatever? Whether it's putting some think over. Can't think of anything over at Fox, but I know we're at Legacy. We did some stuff, put some big rocks down to help the water disperse, as opposed to running one stream down. They put it down there so kind of it spreads it out, that sort of thing. Like I said, I can't remember what if we've done something like that at Fox, but we did that a couple times at Legacy.
Cool. All right. That's interesting. Andrew, any questions from you?
No, not really. Think
Awesome.
smooth.
Well, this takes us to a brand new segment. We are halfway through our conversation with Robert, and just like we would do if we were playing around a golf with Robert, we are now at the turn. And for today, the turn is sponsored by Cannabizzy. And so if you've been following my account, you'll have seen some stuff about Cannabizzy. Let's get a little good crack here, Andrew.
Some ASMR.
Did it come through?
I got you here.
Very anticlimactic there.
There we go. We all got a little
Here
bevy.
we go. Robert's got a little bevy. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to the turn here. So Cannabis has been great to us. They're a local seltzer company, and well, they do a lot of stuff, but in particular, the seltzer side of the company has come on board. I did a nice video with them recently, and yeah, it's a great alternative to alcohol, frankly. And so if you're an alcohol drinker or you're not, and you're looking for something maybe to still relax a little bit on the course, I'd highly recommend checking out Cannabis. I'm trying the sweet tea lemonade. So the Arnold Palmer, that's hard for me to say, Arnold Palmer version of Cannabis, and it's pretty nice. I like it.
Good.
What about you?
Yeah.
What are you trying?
I'm doing the strawberry lemonade. This is amazing. It's not too bubbly,
I
so
was
it
about to
doesn't
say,
make me burp.
this is your first time trying it,
Yeah,
right?
this is my first time trying it. This is so crushable. Like, what the heck? This is
Oh,
delicious.
definitely.
Yeah, but no sugar. Um,
Yeah.
nice. I can be a skinny queen with this. Oh,
Skinny
it's 0
queen. Yeah.
calories? Oh, whoa.
Zero calories, zero hangover, gluten free, all the good stuff, man. So, yeah, it's awesome. Look. I mean, I know they're paying for an ad and that sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
I've had people reach out to me and be like, "Dude, it's really good." So, thanks for putting me on that. But so as part of the turn, when you play a golf round, halfway through, you're thinking, all right, what happened front nine? Thinking about hopefully the good shots, or there might be some bad shots sprinkled in there, and then looking ahead. So we'll kind of do our version of that. So, Robert, how do you think this is going so far?
I think it's going great. You guys are doing good.
Awesome.
And
You ever been on a podcast before?
podcast, no, first one.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've been
But
on, the fan a couple times.
well, awesome.
Interviewed there. So
Okay, so people have done
Well,
interviews with you and stuff like that. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
we're honored. We're honored to take your podcast virginity.
Let's keep it PG. That's awesome.
I'm not gonna
Uh,
send you. I'm not sending you a card though.
that's fine. That's
Well,
fine.
I want to say,
Yeah.
just thank you, Robert, for just being able to join us and making the time for this. I know as
No, my
another general
pleasure.
manager, like you're busy. Like it's hard. I basically called you and solicited to you, and you probably get solicitations all the time. I know your phone probably rings all the time for just trying to sell you things, or assistant managers calling you and asking you for things. So I just appreciate you making the time. I think you guys do a great job over at Fox Creek
No, I
LLC.
appreciate that.
So
No, I'm
yeah,
glad you guys called. Stuff like this, I love to do. Get the word of mouth out about Legacy Fox Creek, just because I mean they're two great golf courses, and and everybody has a busy life. So the dad with two kids, his son and daughter has a softball, baseball game at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon. If he can get a tee time at 9 o'clock, 9:30, and be done by 11:30, home to take the kids, the wife's like, perfect, go play.
everyone's
So
happy.
yeah,
Everyone's
he's
happy.
he's happy, the wife's happy. So
Hey,
yeah.
Robert's our second person from Bobby Jones Links to join us on the podcast, and I think it's such a huge testament to what they're doing. I think we've talked about this before. It's the Bobby Jones touch of they come in, start managing a golf course, they do a great job, but it also shows through the people and the team. Like every time I'm at Fox Creek, Legacy, Bobby Jones, Mirror Lake, like wherever, like the customer service is always just perfect. And it's just a testament of how that trickle down affects. You show me your most bottom tier employee, and I'll know exactly what's going on at the top, essentially.
Mhm.
Just because you're
Sure.
only as strong as your weakest link.
Who,
So,
who who was the first person from Bobby Jones?
Kayla,
Probably Kayla.
yeah.
Kayla at Bobby Jones, and then we talked to
Okay.
Tyler at the Frog.
Oh, we did
Oh,
have
okay, Tyler.
Tyler too. Yeah, so third. Robert
Good
is
old
a third.
Tyler. Yeah,
Yeah, and Tyler's awesome
Tyler.
too.
Yeah, Tyler actually was my assistant GM over at Fox Creek.
Oh,
Oh
Before he
yeah,
went to the
I
Frog.
think I do remember
Yep.
that. I think I do remember that actually.
Yeah.
such a small world.
But yeah, I mean, Bobby Jones links. We really strive. Uh, great customer service. You know, throughout. From the top down. We expect the cart guy just washing carts to provide the best customer service as the person in the pro shop. Because again, you go to you go to a restaurant and poor service. What do? You don't go back.
Yeah, it starts with the host.
Yep.
I love it.
Ah, guys, we're
Whoa.
holding up. We're holding up traffic. We spent too long in the line to get our Snickers and our Cannabises, so we're gonna have to get back into it.
We're jumping on 10 now. On the back nine now,
That's right.
guys.
Actually, we're behind. We got to skip to 11.
We're getting rushed. The marshal's pushing us.
That's
Ah.
right.
All right, let's get into greens. This will be this is always a popular question that people reach out to me. Hey, how are the greens at such and such and so and so? Well, so let's kind of talk about um the greens. And I feel like again, this kind of goes to the traffic and everything else. In my opinion, the greens are largely really good. I think literally the only one that ever I feel like for whatever reason isn't up to snuff is number one. But other than that, they're always in pretty good shape. I mean, you're gonna have people that don't fix their ball markers because you got a bunch of beginners out there. But I mean, as far as the healthiness of the greens go, the green speed is a nice, comfortable speed. It's they're never lightning quick, but they're never crazy slow. They're just a good, solid roll. So for me, I've always ranked them, kind of in that upper 7, 8, and especially when you start thinking about greens at other executive courses, uh, not to name names, but these are definitely a tier above many of those type of kind of cheaper executive style courses for sure. So yeah, 7, 8, somewhere in there, in my opinion.
100% agree. I give it an 8.5, especially for how much play they get. And I love, again, like a weird green. I think one is fun because if you end up on that high side, you have a really fun little putt that'll move all which ways. And so I just love anything that's a little weird and just gives you opportunities to have like a highlight reel, basically, instead of it just being a straight
Yeah,
shot.
the green that sticks out to me as a really fun one is 17, the three tiers that you're faced with. And so, yeah, just again, and you have a lot of different types of, and also number three, you got a two-tiered green as well, if I'm not mistaken. And
Mhm.
yeah, you got some greens that I think are slender. I don't remember which hole it is on the back, but you have the two bunkers in front, a pretty slender green in the front there that is difficult. You have large greens like 18, where you can be, you know, 20 paces away from the ball, even if you're not careful. So, yeah, again, variety. And for a course for beginners where you're trying to learn, or for people that are more experienced looking to dial in their numbers and get more comfortable hitting different types of shots into different types of greens, I think it's, all you can ask for essentially. So, Robert, what are some things you do to try to keep your greens up, with all the traffic y'all get?
Yeah, just we have or our superintendent does a tremendous job, at both golf courses. Probably about 3 years ago, he really came up with a program for the greens, making obviously everybody uh, punches holes in them every year, but he's really stepped up the program to throw in a lot more chemicals and fertilizer on them to help the turf growth. Because probably when I first got there 4 years ago, the greens were a little thin, the grass itself. So he was hired just after I was. So he came up with a program to kind of make it a little uh, more thicker blades of grass to have a little better putting surface. A truer roll, that sort of thing. And then I know you said number one, kind of a rough one. Yeah, we've done a lot trying to. There's like four different types of grasses on that. We're just trying to. We've had experts come in other than just you know blowing up the green and redoing it. We're just struggle with number one, just because, like I said, you know, I mean, it was built. Fox Creek was built, I think, back in '86. So what's that? 80, 92. Almost 30 years old.
40.
And some,
Oh,
oh, that's that four. Yeah,
Sorry to
I
make
don't.
you
I
guys.
don't have my.
40.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have my calculator.
We're getting
It
so
ran out of
old.
fingers.
Yeah. So that's where we haven't really redone any of the greens there. So like number ones to struggle really, and the putting, the practice putting green are their two biggest problems.
Really? I think the practice putting green's always really great over there.
It's pretty solid. I know what you're talking about though, because there definitely is some. Yeah, there's some weird kind of areas on it, but I mean, we'll get to practice facilities in a little bit, but yeah, but one's the only one. It's so weird. It's like literally like I've golfed with people before, and that I've recommended to come out. I'm like, hey, the greens are great. Ignore number one. Just ignore it. It's fine. It just we'll get out of the way. It's number one. It'll be fine, and then you'll enjoy the greens for the rest of the round. No idea why it is. So that's funny that y'all are also kind of just like bang your heads against the wall. Like we don't know. We're trying everything, but we can't figure it
Yeah.
out. So
No,
yeah,
but as far as as far as the green layout, I mean, they're perfect for, we don't put them, the pins in tough spots. We put them in easy spots during the weekend or the weeks during the week or the weekends. But if we do a tournament where, like we do a yearly tournament called the City Championships, called the Arthur Bacon over at Fox, and the greens are built where we can put it in a kind of pins in a little tough spot where it challenges the golfer.
mm,
So, that's a good thing I like about Fox, with their greens.
Much versatility.
Yeah.
yeah, perfect. Let's move on to bunkers. I think Andrew, you and I have had maybe different experiences here. My experience with bunkers there, and maybe I'm just not in them as much as you are, Andrew. Maybe that's the that's what it
It's
is.
really just it's
Uh,
really just hole two. All right, it's just hole two. 'Cause I always end up in that left side bunker over there. It's not like the greatest bunker. It's just, it's just so frustrating. And so like that's kind of my the rest of the bunkers are great. I think they're, executive courses wise, it's a 6 out of 10. But that whole two bunker on the left is just I feel like every time I'm in there, maybe I come a day after it rains. It's kind of gritty, and so maybe I'm just mad starting off like that. But everything else is great. The bunkers are bunkers. There's never a moment where you think you're gonna like break your club or you're reaching the rocks or the cement on the bottom. Those bunkers.
yeah, I would say one thing. The conditions of the bunkers, in my opinion, are always more than adequate. There's sand in them. At least last time I was out, I didn't see any like lining poking through. It seemed to be fairly well manicured. There's always, I feel like, a good amount of sand in them. But probably my thing I'm most impressed about is just the amount of bunkers because, again, in an executive course situation, we got a very inexpensive tee time. Bunkers are super expensive to upkeep. And so the fact that, there are so many bunkers on different holes that come into play, I think, yeah, it adds something to it that, again, many, many other courses, you know, will not do. Even full par 72 courses, will start filling up bunkers and not want to have to deal with them because of the expense of it all. And so I think again, looking at Fox Creek from a um, beginner friendly and helping people learn the game, like bunkers are part of the game. And so, I've always appreciated the upkeep and the commitment to having the bunkers and helping people learn how to how to deal with it and the frustrations that sometimes come with not being able to get out. And yeah, so for me, the bunkers have always been a solid like again grading on the scale of an executive course. Man, I mean 7 or 8. At least last time that I was out there. It's been a little bit, but I've been there. I don't know, probably 10 times, and they've always been pretty solid. So
Robert, I
yeah,
mean,
Yeah.
Harp,
I mean,
what are you
anything
guys doing with
to
the
that?
bunkers over there?
there are no bunkers on the golf course.
Oh, must be nice. Must be nice. You guys are all scratch. You guys are all scratch. Sorry, I shoot in the hundreds.
No, yeah. I mean, that's the struggle. When the golfers aren't raking after they get in the bunker. So, it all filters down in the bottom. So when people aren't raking the bunker, it gets like Joe was saying, it gets down to the liner. Luckily we haven't, had that problem too much. But actually this winter, we did order, I can't remember how many tons of sand. So Mike, the superintendent, and his crew actually did a little bunker project at both places. So
Nice.
they rake them out and see where, or look to see where the sand was thin, and we added sand to them to get them back where they're in pretty good shape. And they also did some edging on a lot of the bunkers too. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah. I
so
just want
that's
to
kind
say,
of the.
they're 100% playable, and they're not the reason why I
Oh
shoot
yeah,
102 at Fox Creek. I don't want to put all the blame
You
on the
don't shoot
bunkers.
102 at Fox Creek.
Oh man, I have. I, I think I have. Pretty bad. A lot of pickups.
You're good. You're good. Awesome. All right, we're on the kind of final stretch here. We'll do practice facilities, value, and recommend. So, practice facilities, I near and dear to my heart. Like we said at the beginning, this is where I learned how to play golf, and I think it's as far as like this general area, Smyrna area, it's one of the ones I always recommend because there's a ton of spots. You have the grass to hit off of, which beginners really need to do. I think they sometimes get too comfortable on the mats and need to get out there on the grass. It's fun trying to hit at the bus. So there's some fun little targets out there that make it fun for folks as well. Um, Solid putting green. Um, and then you even have the little chipping areas. Legacy, if I'm not mistaken, has a bit more chipping options. And so for chipping and kind of short game stuff, I tend to go over there. There's that chipping green. Was it on the, if I'm looking at the range, it's like the right side, if I'm not mistaken, near the clubhouse. But I never find myself over there for whatever reason. But overall, I would say it's a, yeah, really good practice. I would give it, considering it's an executive course where, sometimes executive courses only have a range and much less the practice facilities that they have here. I'd give it like a 7. I don't think there's a practice bunker, which would be kind of a, would be nice to have. So not a 10 out of 10. And again, just having the one sort of chipping green over there compared to Legacy where you have a couple to kind of play with. So, if I was comparing those against each other, I'd probably give Legacy a leg up on the practice facility, but still Fox Creek is really fantastic. So
Okay. Well, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. When
no,
it
you
comes
shouldn't. You should fight about this.
well, so the pricing is always great. You also have that program where you book a tee time, you can accrue points, you buy a bucket of range balls, and you. I always recommend people go inside and buy the range balls in there so you can accrue points. You get a free bucket every once in a while. You guys also do the Wheel of Fortune thing, where you can spin for either a free
True.
bucket or 10% off things, stuff like that. So there's all these little bonuses that are in there that I think add to the value of the practice facility. It's also huge, so every time I've been there, even on a super busy day, I can always find somewhere to. And I think it's a huge plus that Thursday through Sunday that you allow grass. I don't know if grass is open right now. I think you guys are kind of gearing up for that, but it's a huge facility. The buses are super fun. When I go out there with my friends, we always play a game. So I love that there's tiers to it too. You have so much grass to work with. And so I really appreciate the practice facility out there. For me, I know Marietta Golf Center is up north for me. Kind of a, it's not super far. It's like 20, 25 minutes from where I live in Smyrna. Fox Creek Legacy is 5 minutes away. So that's my preferred spot. And if they're ever closed or something, SOL, I don't know where else to go. There's not much in the area. There is anything.
Yeah, there's not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably the closest, like you said, would be Marietta or uh, Bobby Jones Golf Course.
Yeah. Or you could shoot down to, I
Really,
guess, is it North Crest? The driving range over there, or Deer?
No, that's on the other side. I mean, probably the other closest one would be like City Club. You could go to City Club and do it there. But yeah, regardless though, yeah, we really enjoy the practice facilities. And yeah, Robert, maybe speak a little to that. I know y'all take a lot of pride in the practice facilities, and again, working with even part of that practice facility being the helping beginner golfers getting going. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
yeah. Again, both ranges are extremely busy. Legacy is a lot busier than Fox Creek, just because, like Joe, when you were saying with the ability to have a couple different chipping areas. But when we actually, when I came on board, back 4 years ago, we actually tried to bang our heads together to try to see how could we put a bunker, a practice bunker, and we just couldn't come up with an area. that, because, when I've done that over at Legacy too, there's just not enough real estate to put it.
But not safe.
But,
Right.
well, yeah, just the layout, a lot of those cars are going to be in trouble, with some of the, with a practice bunker out there. But, just like Andrew said, that loyalty program, it is a great program. Does not cost you anything. All you have to do is sign up in the pro shop. All they need is your name, phone number, email address. And then for every round of golf you play, you get 2 points. For every bucket of balls you play or purchase, you get 1 point. And those equate to dollar amounts. So if you have 10 points, you can get a free small bucket of balls, which is $10. So it's a great program for people to practice and play. Again, it doesn't cost anything. And then there was something else Andrew said
Just having so much grass and
early.
real estate.
Oh
The
yeah,
grass.
yeah,
What's the grass
yeah.
schedule right now?
Yeah. What's the grass schedule?
That's what it was. Yeah. Currently, we do have the grass tees closed because we do overseed in the wintertime with ryegrass. And obviously with the warmer weather, it's going to start dying out. So we have everybody off on the mat. So probably in the next, depending on how the temperatures in the evening warm up, we'll start going to hitting off the grass probably in another next 3 or 4 weeks once that Bermuda starts to come through. And again, same thing, just the usage. It's just that's why, sometimes in the middle of the summer you'll see, oh, we're going to be hitting off mats for a week or two, just to let that grass, germinate and grow back in.
Yep, makes sense. Cool. Well, talking about the value of Fox Creek, and for me, based off of again what you're getting for what you pay compared to other executive courses, kind of in that 35 to mainly $50 range. To me, the value is like a 9 out of 10. I think it's one of the best bang for your bucks in our area, especially you got the hot deals that Andrew mentioned at the beginning. But I just think that 18 holes for pretty much almost always under $50, the variety you get, the conditions you're going to get, the extra amenities when you consider the practice facilities we just talked about. Yeah, it's hard to poke holes in what you're getting for what you're paying for out at Fox Creek.
100% agree. The value is just so good. That's why, like, when I first started golfing, I was just spamming Fox Creek and Legacy. It was just every single day. Me and my friends, all my friends work in the restaurant industry, and we usually get off around 3:30. So in this time of year right now, you can shoot over there, get there at 4:30, and finish up a round and still have plenty of daylight left. And it's so worth it. So we would play, like, hey, you work in the morning? Oh, cool. Let's play golf. Let's play Legacy. Let's play Fox Creek. That was like 4 or 5 times a week I started golfing. It was crazy how much we played there. And it was just so worth it.
Yeah, it's a great relaxed vibe with the boys, or girls, and yeah, I think that for what you're paying for, it's really hard to imagine getting anything else out of it. Frankly, I only put 9, 10 because I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. The bunker. You know what? If you figured out a way to get the bunker, we'd be 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
But
10.
you're close. You're a bunker away. A bunker away.
Darn it. Yeah, I mean the value is tremendous. Again, people has busy lives and want to get in and get out, and it's an affordable rate. Just kind of let people know we do use dynamic pricing. I'm not sure if people on the podcast understand that, but it's kind of like an airline. The further out, the cheaper it gets. The closer you get, the price goes
Right.
up. So it's kind of supply and demand and time frame. So we book out 2 weeks in advance. So your best bet to get that, really the lower rate is to do it, once that 2 week time frame. Because like I said, that 50, that 55, that's pretty much on the high end. So that medium's probably about that $46 to $50 is really, if you're booking, within that 2 week or week and a half period.
There's your pro tip, everyone. But you can 2 week, you can book out in 2 weeks, and a lot of courses don't do
Never
more
heard of
than a
that
week. So
for a public course,
yeah,
actually.
being able to do 2 weeks in advance is a huge benefit, and getting a little saving a couple
Yeah.
extra shekels. This is we were talking about pricing. I had a quick question. I heard or I've talked to other people about the hot deals. Do y'all get that revenue, or does that go straight to golf now?
That goes to golf now.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I'd heard that. I hadn't had a chance to confirm it with the GM yet, and so
Yeah.
I well we won't talk about golf now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, we're good. But well, cool. Well, what's coming up? Anything new coming up for Fox Creek? Yeah, looking at 2026 or even looking ahead to 2027. Anything new or upcoming that you want to kind of share or let people know about?
Yeah, so we're always looking. Obviously, we got the GPS and all that stuff. We were supposed to um, redo all the cart paths over at Fox Creek in the fall of last year, or start the project and finish in the winter of 2020. We're in 2026. That's kind of, now that we're in the, there was some things, contractors and stuff like that, kind of delayed it. So hopefully by all of 2026 we'll start doing those cart path
Nice.
replacements. So we're not just going to be repairing them. It's a full replacement.
Ooh,
So
Wow.
that's, yeah. So, pretty excited about that. What else? If I could promote one thing, for the
Please do.
people that play or are on our mailing list, we did send out, we do, like I talked earlier in the podcast, we do a city championship. It's called the Arthur Bacon City Championship or Smyrna City Championship. And I send an email out probably 3 weeks ago that the registration is open for it. So it is on the first weekend in May, which I think is I don't want to say because somebody will get it wrong, but I could look real quick.
yeah, I could definitely throw a link in
Uh, is
the
it May
description too.
2nd? Is that May 2nd weekend?
Yeah,
May
that's probably
1st.
it. May 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, May 1st
But
is a Friday. So
like I said, I'm going to send another one out here in the next couple of weeks to remind everybody. But it's a great event. No handicaps. We do have a championship flight, and depending on how many people play, we'll have 3 or 4 flights. And after the first round, we tier you to what your score was. So it's just a great event. I think the entry fee is $90. So prizes, closest to pin, longest drive, food truck both days. For that fee. So
nice. So it's $90 for 2 days of playing.
Huh.
correct. So
Wow.
2 rounds, lunch, goodie bag.
Wait, what? The tea time costs $45 just in general, and then you can just get
Yeah,
bonuses and meet people and have fun and get free food and a goodie bag.
I think
What?
You can
we
say
might
that
be
again.
getting to a
Just got sold.
9.5 on the value.
Yeah.
9.5 on the value. It's getting it's getting closer. We're getting closer.
I love that. That's
No,
awesome.
that's great. Yeah, we'll put a link in our show notes where you can go check out and register. What's the name of the tournament again?
It's the Arthur Bacon City Championship.
Arthur Bacon City
Yeah,
Championship.
I'll forward Andrew the email just so he has it, so he has the details. That'd be great if you
Yeah.
put a little
You can
link.
put a little
Yeah.
link thing. Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, obviously, I think it's a given. We obviously recommend. I think we've probably said it a couple times
100%.
already, but for official recommendation, that is a big ol' yes. Um, let's go into. We have 2 last things to do before we wrap up. And actually, before we get into those, Andrew, I know you always like the history of courses, and if there's anything interesting about the history in the courses, we kind of skipped over that today, but. Robert, the history of the course. How did it come to be, or what's, or any interesting tidbits about how the course came to be or anything about the construction or anything at all?
That's a good question. I just have little bits and pieces. I know when it was built way back in 1986, the Shaw Company, the big carpet company out in Dalton,
Mhm.
um, to my understanding, they actually built that. They owned it and operated it for a while. And then, whatever happened, they sold it to another person and, that sort of thing.
Got
But
it.
like I said, it's been there for 40 years, not 30.
Cool. There you go. Awesome. Well, one thing we like to do is talk about the number one handicap hole in the course and maybe try to give a little bit of course management help to folks headed out there, maybe for their first time or their 10th time, they just never thought about it. And the number one handicap on the course is hole 8, the uphill par 3 over the water. So you got a force carry from the back tees. It's going to play probably middle of the green, what, around 170, 175, give or take. And so, my 2 cents, at least as a 10 handicap golfer, so that's always the disclaimer there, is that you club up, 1, because you wanna make sure you're getting over that forced carry. That's the first thing you don't wanna miss. The worst miss is ending up in the hazard. And then if you can accomplish that, the next step is to probably favor the number you would choose. I would say center of the green for sure. If you're trying to get, close, if it's a front pin, you're trying to, get cute about it. That's not the hole to do it on. And then the second thing is the miss is definitely to the right. And I even a little short right, it's not too bad. The way the green is set up, it's kind of angled in a sense, or if you miss right, you're pretty much going to be chipping right up the green. Got an uphill chip as well to give you a good chance of getting up and down. If you're left and a little deep, you're short-sighted, chipping downhill, and you're chipping the green's running away from you, and you're chipping to kind of a bit of an elevation the way it's structured. And so it's really difficult to keep the ball in the green unless you can hit a great flop shot. And let's face it, we're none of us, at least Andrew and I, aren't hitting flop shots onto that green. So that's how I always tell people, it's like, just get it over first, and then if you're good enough to where you can think about more than just that, that missing right's definitely a lot better than missing left. But what about you, Robert? What's any tips for folks on that one?
Oh yeah, that's it. If you're going to miss it short right. You do not want to go left. Because I think if I remember a bunch of trees there, and it makes it. I think if I remember, there's a pretty big hump on the left side of that, just off the green, where you got to chip it over, depending on where the pin is. Kind
Yep,
of makes it a pretty hard chip.
definitely.
I've been over there on that left tee
Andrew, how do
box.
you how do you usually play it? Yeah, I was about to say, Andrew, how do you usually play it?
Well, I mean, I should probably just take your advice. I mean, before we started this, I was talking about it. I was like, just go long and then chip it with a 5 wood down. And,
Right.
you'll be okay. But realistically, when
Yeah,
I think
we're
about
talking.
it, I'm a
Yeah, we
22
were literally
handicap.
talking about it. We were literally talking about this hole earlier, and he's like, "Yeah, I just tried to hit it long." I'm like, "No, that's not, that's like I get it. You want to make sure you're
I just want to be
over the
over.
water, but
I'm also really lazy and fat. So, like, because the thing is, you have to, if you hit it short, you have to like walk up that giant hill, and I don't know, it's a whole thing, and your partner's looking at you like, what are you doing? And then duff it. But that's just me also.
you're good. It's
I'm just trying to
hilarious.
get over.
Uh, good stuff. Favorite hole. I think we're gonna. Well, I'll do one different. I'll let you go first, Andrew. And while you're talking about your favorite hole, I'll come up with a different one.
Okay. Well, it's easy for me because hole 3, when I first started golfing, I like, what, 2 weeks into it, I hit a driver off of hole 3. It's a par 4.
No, I think you mean 4, right?
4?
So hole 1, and then short par 3, and then you have short par 4, then uphill par 3, downhill par 3. It's 5 actually. 5 is the short par 5,
It's
right?
just super
No,
flat. No.
Is my mi-
no.
am I
Four
am I wrong?
four is the par three along the fence. Then five
Okay,
five is up.
downhill.
A little bit. Yeah, five is where the tee is uh, up by
Okay.
Windy Hill Road, and you're hitting
Yep.
along number four.
So hole 3 is
So
that
it's
par 4. It's really
Correct.
Oh, you're
short.
thinking the par 4. Okay, I thought you
Yeah,
were thinking
yeah.
the par 5. Yeah, okay, you're good, you're good. Sorry.
No, I'm thinking of hole 3 because when I first started golfing, I grabbed
Got
no,
it.
yeah, I think you were confused because I said driver. It
Yep,
plays around like
you're good.
250, probably not 200, it's probably like 220, 230. But I hit a driver, and these guys are on the green, and first start golfing, don't hit very far. It doesn't do anything. I drove it up, and it rolled up to the green, and like before I even got there, I yelled 4. This is like week 2 of golfing, and I'm panicked. I mean, I'm having a heart attack because I've never done this in my life. And so I'm driving up to these guys right away, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And they all come up to me, and they're like, no, that was awesome. You just drove the green, like high fives and stuff. And I was like, oh, I just started golfing. So that hole holds a very special place in my heart. All my friends got to watch. I was die.
Nice. I would say for me, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 16, and mainly it's because where I got my first ever birdie. Similar story. I hit the best drive of my life, and I was like green side, just right side of the green. I was able to chip it up and one putt for a birdie, and there's nothing like it. You pretty much are chasing that feeling for the rest of your golf career. Is that first birdie feeling, and yeah, it was. I still have just vivid memories of chipping it up and being like, "Oh my gosh, this is my chance!" And I'm standing there. I'm so nervous. I'm probably like, it was 2 feet that felt like 5 feet, and that green's not easy. It's got some slope to it because it was a front pin, and I was able to put it home. And I think I was actually golfing by myself, so it was a very probably looked very strange celebrating as much as I did if someone was watching me, but I didn't care. I was on cloud nine. So, Robert, do you have a favorite hole?
Yeah, mine is 6. Anytime I can hit a short little wedge into a par 5 and 2, I'm loving it.
I actually
Makes me
eagle
feel like
that.
I'm a champ.
The last time I played Fox Creek was my first ever time eagling that hole. So that was cool. I've had a handful of birdies on there, but never was able to put two and two together perfectly enough to get up and down from whatever 130 or 120. But finally was able to pull it off and felt good. So that would probably be number 2 for me for that reason too. And it's a beautiful hole. This is a great hole. You got the bunker short on the left as well that I think just really frames that green really nicely. So yeah, it's a great hole, so good choice. Well, Andrew, is there anything else, or have we completed our round here?
Yeah, I think we're driving off 18 right now. It feels like.
Driving out your team, we're taking off hats, we're shaking each other's hands. It's we got teas falling out of our hair. It's all good.
Oh, so great playing with you. Here, let me get your number. We'll play again.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. A little golf clap. Perfect. Well, Robert, thanks again for your time, man. This was fantastic to get a little bit more insight into, I think, a course that is I think near and dear to a lot of folks' heart because where a lot of people start, and just really appreciative to you and the team and what you guys do to not just keep it up, but also continue to keep it accessible. I'm sure you guys could charge a lot more than you currently are, and it'd be just okay. But I think what's great about Fox Creek and Legacy is keeping golf as accessible as possible, and I think that's hugely important. And props to you and the team for being willing to do that. Thanks so much.
No, I appreciate you guys having me, and yeah, I mean, we try to make it affordable. That's our niche. They're what we really strive for, and people have fun there. We don't have a lot of rules other than keep up pace of play. That's our biggest rule, but we want people to have fun when they come out.
No
Hey,
doubt.
thank you so
Awesome.
much, Robert.
No, my pleasure. You guys have a great rest of the afternoon.
Yeah,
You
see you,
too.
Robert.
Thanks.
That's a wrap, Andrew. How do you think that went?
I had a blast. I also love our new segment, The Turn. So,
Yeah,
you know,
dude. I don't know about you, man, but I can definitely feel it.
these are great though. They're super mellow. I mean, it's not like a crazy feeling or anything like that, but it's
No.
and you can't I can't really even compare it to being like drunk. It's way different. I feel so much better. I've actually been so we've talked about this on the last episode. I like tweaked my back a little bit and sitting has been super uncomfortable. I actually feel really relaxed just even in my body. So I really want to try
Okay.
this out on the golf course too. Maybe I'll be scratch up there. Who knows?
Now, now that would be an ad. If
Yeah.
somehow Cannabisy turns you scratch, they will be flying off the shelves. You'll become an investor. That would
I will be Mr. Cannabisy. I'd have golf polos. It's just the
Oh my
Cannabisy
god.
merch.
Right, right. Well, again, I think people can look at, these kind of seltzers and be like, "Oh, am I gonna feel like I'm floating or whatever?" It's like,
Yeah.
it's not. I don't feel like my ears are sliding off my face. I just feel good. I feel happy. I feel like I would love to play golf with this attitude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, what more could
100%.
you? I mean, literally. I mean, it's crazy.
Well,
So,
I'm still like
anyways,
aware.
oh,
I'm
for sure, for
conscious.
sure. So shout out to Cannabisy. Use code ATL Golfs 15. You can get 15% off your purchases online. Um, Love that. Appreciate those of you have. I have a link in my Instagram bio where you can go directly to that website. We'll have links in the show notes as well where you can access Cannabisy, support local, support our friends Ashton and Marley. Shout out to you guys, the guys that head up the marketing side of things over in Buford, Georgia. Good folks and great products. So appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. Just want to say this is the last episode of season 1. We've hit 10
Woo!
episodes. So
We did
season
it.
2, I have big things planned for this. I'm gonna do a little reformatting, get some more interesting viewers. I feel like I think there's a lot of you guys that watch mostly on YouTube or listen on YouTube, and so I hope if you guys appreciate the visuals and being able to see our lovely faces, leave a comment, say something, say hello, subscribe. If you're not subscribed for some reason.
Definitely. Make sure you're subscribed. You might be listening to this right now and be like, "Oh, I just listened to it and I see it, but I'm not subscribed." Please subscribe. It really makes a difference. We get lots of views, but we get more views than we get subscriptions. And so obviously there's some of you out there that aren't subscribing. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Really appreciate that. And yeah, Andrew, excited to see what you have planned for season 2.
Great. Thanks everyone.